Hello everyone. It's James again. And before I start today's topic, I just want to quickly say, all work in this video contains 100% original content of and by myself James Smith, otherwise known as Bgood 4000, and was uniquely created with NAWMAL software, by myself James Smith. As I purchased commercial rights from NAWMAL to produce my unique and original video with this software. Commentary is uniquely my own thoughts, feelings, and expressions. Now that I have that out of the way, I hope everyone is having a great day. And if you have been enjoying the content on this channel thus far, but haven't subscribed as of yet, please do so. So you can be a big part of this channel's growth. Because the more channels like this grow, the more have a chance others that are looking for this type of material, they will have an easier time finding it. Also don't forget to click the little bell icon to be notified each and every time I make a new video. And don't forget to share and like, because this lets YouTube know this type of content is very important to you. With all that being said, the title of this video says, The Narcissist Family Business. What does that mean? Or what is that dynamic? You see, if you meet someone that shows the toxic signs of narcissism, meaning they are gaslighting you, they are a pathological liar, or they are honest one moment and the next they are lying to you, and they have no guilt or remorse for these actions, though they might fake like they do. They take you through one chaotic situation after the next. One minute you are the best of the best, and the next minute they are treating you like you are a no good. Good for nothing. I think you get my point. But the thing we are looking at right now is what about their family? And there is a reason why this is so important. What I want you to think about is that scary movie, where this young couple gets lost out in the woods, and this harmless nice man or woman brings this couple back to their home to get warmed up and to get some hot tea. They introduce them to mom and dad type characters in the home as well. All of these people seem to be overly caring and overly nice. But what we find out later on is these people are part of the plot. And they lure this couple into their crazy cousin that lives under the stairs, that is now chasing this couple for the duration of the movie. You see, in this movie instance, this entire family is completely in on all the bad that goes on in the home. And they all play their special roles to lure new people into their spider web, so to speak. And they get a charge from the supply that comes from the lying, the tricking they do, and also from the panic and fear that sets in with their targets. Once their targets finally realize they've been duped and set up, now are there more than likely innocent people that are in such homes? Yes. Because many of us come from these horrible homes of narcissism. But please remember, it's not up to you to figure out which person in this house is on your side and which person isn't on your side. Because this is one thing that gets people tangled up and sticking around longer in a narcissistically toxic situation. Maybe the brother and sister of this narcissist that you are with comes to talk to you assuring you they are going to work with their brother or sister you are with. Or it's their mother or father. Or aunt or uncle. However, after a few years of things, and you peel back the layers, you can see how they were all in on the big joke and trick played on you. You see, if you believe you are with a narcissist, more than likely they picked up this trait somewhere. Yes. There are those that say it's nature. Some say it's nurture. But what appears to be the most common school of thought, and it's the one I believe is the most accurate, it's usually a combination of both. So there's a good chance either their mother or father, or possibly both, have this same problem as the person you are with. And you have to understand, just because the person you are with is acting completely off the rails, doesn't mean their mother or father will completely act in the same way. You see, one thing narcissist parents will do is feed on the crazy behavior of their kids. All the while they act like they are concerned and loving parents. And once you understand this behavior didn't just spontaneously start one day. It was trained into this person over years and years. And it's probably something that has been going on with this family for generations. Once you understand that, you are less likely to try to talk to one of these family members for help regarding this toxic person you are dating. If someone is toxic, they are toxic. You shouldn't be trying to understand the level of their toxic behavior. Nor should you be trying to save them. You should be just figuring out how you can get away from this individual as soon as humanly possible. But because some people get caught in this loop like I explained before, they want to try to fix people. Which again you shouldn't try to do. And they try to figure out how bad they truly are. Which again, this is something that is pointless to do. Because toxic is toxic is toxic. It's all bad. But we get talking with one of these so-called concerned family members regarding this toxic person we are with. And it almost always turns into a twisted mess as a result. This also can happen to you regarding your own family. Here's an example. Most of you know, I have a golden child narcissist brother. And one of my other family members that's a bit older talks about my brother in a way as if he wants to help him, where he acknowledges his problems and what we went through as children. But then in the next instances, he makes it sound like, well, everyone has it hard. What's your brother's problem? And here's the thing. I'm not here to protect my brother. Heck, I have no contact with him. But I realized something. Narcissism is a family business. Now I'm not calling this other family member a narcissist or even toxic. But the flip-flopping of information and feelings about the topic lets me know. I didn't want to be involved then and I don't want to be involved now. Because maybe his heart is in the right place. But maybe not. It's not for me to judge and it's not for me to be involved. Because again, it's so easy to get pulled in to be used for narcissistic supply in this way. They really pretend to care. And they really pretend to be working on your behalf. But then you find out that's not really so. Usually what you're going to find, sadly, is a family full of these types. Sure, one might be quiet. One might be loud. But the mentality is the same. And there will be one or two people in this big family full of toxic people that are trying to get out. That knows something is wrong. Someone that has been turned into the scapegoat. With that said, if you are an outsider to a particular family, it's not your job to figure out which one is the scapegoat and which one is the narcissist. And it can lead to be a bigger problem if you want to go down that road to do all of that. All to try to help out a narcissist you can't help. So don't get roped into conversations with this person's family, friends, or anyone else that is close to them, hoping to get a solution. Because all you will be doing is giving others narcissistic supply in most instances. And if it's your own family, again, a cousin or an aunt or uncle might show up and be there to help you. Or acting like they are there to help you. And possibly they might be really kind and nice. But there is also a big chance they are just another toxic person. But there is a big chance they grew up under the same toxic setting as you did. One of the things when talking to such people in your family, if you are indeed in the middle of this now, where you can tell there is a problem. If they on one hand admit the toxic happenings, but then pass it off as a minimal problem the next moment. Now maybe they are just in denial. But maybe they are doing this as a tactic to see how you will react. To get you to get upset and work extra hard to prove that you were mistreated. This is a common tactic of someone in this position. They will want to see how bad you will spin your wheels trying to prove your case to them, when they already believe you. And the best way for them to do this is to 1 minute admit the problems and show themselves to be on your side. Like they went through the same thing and they can identify. But then the next moment, they act like it's not a big deal and they have no idea what you're talking about. which they hope that will lead to you spilling your guts to speak and telling story after story regarding all of these things that happen to you. It's way for them to pump information out of you and to gain narcissistic supply at the same time. So let's say you have contact with, let's say, a cousin or uncle or aunt, or whatever, and this happens. Just keep it to yourself. You can't change the world. And you can't force someone to think the way you think. Either they believe you or they don't. One relative made it seem like a normal happening that happened to myself and my brother. And he couldn't understand why my brother's life is such a mess. Well, I could get upset and detail and list off all of the things that my mother did to us. And get upset and to where tears well up in my eyes talking about it. Or I can just shrug my shoulders and say, hey, I don't know, man. Because here's the thing. What I realized is that there are more people out there than just the narcissist we know and see that is trying to get narcissistic supply from you and from me. And though one shouldn't walk around thinking everyone is like that, because that's not a healthy way to operate in life. But, if you are talking about your family of origin, or the family of someone that you are or were dealing with that you believe is a narcissist, more than likely there are narcissists all throughout these families. And just like the scary movies, many of them are good at playing the game to get you ensnared in their toxic situation. Because in those situations, when the narcissist brings you to a family dinner for the first time, way before you know anything about narcissism, this narcissist's family is sizing you up. And they see you just like the victim or target in these scary movies are seen by the mama or papa characters. The real-life mother and father of this person you are with sees you the same way. They know eventually their son or daughter is going to drop their mask and show their terrible ways to you. And they want to create a support system. So when you run right to them. Just like what happens in these scary movies. Now again, I bet there are innocent scapegoats that are within these families as well. But it's not your job to figure this out and who they are. Know this fact when you are with this narcissist and also several years after the fact. Because in most instances it will get really easy to get reeled in by someone tricking you into thinking they are on your side. When in reality the only thing they are trying to get from you is narcissistic supply. You know, it's interesting. I had an aunt that has since passed away several years back. But I remember as a kid. Because her children that were a bit older than my brother and myself. They were teenagers when I was in grade school. They seemed to have it all. My aunt and her husband had a nice home. Not that of a rich person. But a nice home. The children, my cousins, seemed to have pretty good lives. And here I was. My mother would act very strange at times overtly in public. She was trying to ruin my father's life and prevent him from having a relationship with myself and my brother. And my father passed away. And boy oh boy, we were not doing so well financially is the best way I could say it. Well, I thought it was just myself and my brother that were going through this weird stuff. Well, we are obviously grown adults now. And after my aunt and her husband passed away, you see all of their kids. My cousins getting into trouble. And doing some really strange things. And one of them just got up and said, they want no contact from any of them. And they just got up and left, never to return. And then I thought, my mother learned and was trained to be a narcissist from her mother. Why is it such a far stretch for this narcissism to have affected her other brothers and sisters? And the more I looked at it, I realized it probably had. Narcissism is a family business. And if you don't realize it, you as a family member or an outsider can get sucked into this toxic dynamic. All because you think this person or that person is trying to help you. But in reality they are just trying to spin your wheels and gain narcissistic supply from you and the situation. And going back to the scary movies again for a second. Many of these movies are just a mess to watch. And I normally don't recommend watching them to anyone. But but they do show the tricky nature of the toxic person and their family. Sometimes in a over-the-top manner. But the point is clearly made. And if you ever do watch some of these movies for educational purposes, you can see some patterns and things you've seen in your family possibly or in family members of ex-spouses. The key thing to know is these people are real. They really do act this way. And the best way to protect yourself is to stop for a second and say, wait. If my mother or father is a narcissist, it's a good chance one of their parents or both of their parents are narcissists too. And possibly some of their brothers and sisters. Or if you are dating or married to someone, the same thing applies to their family. And that it's too risky to put your hand in a pot of snakes, so to speak, hoping to find the one that is really on your side. And sometimes it's better to err on the side of caution and say, you know what? It's not worth it. And take care of yourself. Because the more you get sucked in by someone else's family or your own, the harder and harder it will be to do the self-work. Because self-work is what you are going to need to do to understand what happened to you, and how you can keep it from happening again in the future. With that said, I do hope your day is blessed. Please tell me what you think about this topic in the comments section below. Because the more we share, the more we grow. And if you would like to support even further, you can do so by the way of Patreon. A link will be in the box below. And if you have already supporting by the way of Patreon, I humbly say thank you. With that said, until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.